Tonight's program will culminate shortly with a very special guest and a very special announcement, but first I need to give you a little background information. In November, Hoco Palizzo will celebrate its 50th anniversary, which is no small feat for an arts organization. In advance of this momentous occasion, a group began working on Hoco Palizzo's goal to establish a Poet Laureate program in Howard County. In June 2023, after the announcement naming Lucille Clifton Way County Executive Ball was approached with the idea that, given the county's strong literary roots and Hoco Palizzo's upcoming silver anniversary, the time was right to have an official county poet laureate to inspire and connect our communities through the power of the spoken word and poetry. A few days later, his office called, and here we are today. It has been a pleasure to work with the County Executive's Office and Hoco Palizzo to develop the Howard County Poet Laureate and Youth Poet Laureate programs. I want to thank Dr. Ball for embracing the idea of lifting the program up and for providing us with the seed money to implement it. I'd also like to thank the Hoco Palizzo team, Tara Hart, Tim Singleton, and Nicholas Trapper for all of their efforts and for bringing their experience and expertise to the process. They put together an outstanding panel of reviewers to select our first Poet Laureate. That panel included Grace Cavalieri, an Academy of American Poets Fellow and Maryland's 10th Poet Laureate, who has written 26 books of poems and plays. Among her many accomplishments, Grace founded and produced the Poet in the Poem series of audio interviews for public radio, which is now being produced by the Library of Congress. Sylvia Jones, an associate poetry editor at Black Lawrence Press and lecturer in creative writing at Goucher College and George Washington University. Sylvia's writing has appeared in Poet Lore, Diagram, the R&R Journal, the Poetry Society of New York, and numerous other publications. And Ethelbert Miller, literary activist, published author, associate editor, and columnist for American Book Review, and host of the WPFW morning radio show On the Margin with Ethelbert Miller, and the Scholars on UDC TV, which received a 2020 Telly Award. Grace, Sylvia, and Ethelbert have our enduring appreciation for their thoughtful review and recommendations for our first Poet Laureate and for setting the bar high for the future. Starting tonight, the Poet Laureate will serve a 2-year term acting as an advocate for poetry, literature, and the arts, and contributing to the poetic and literary legacy through public readings at community and civic events. In addition, a Youth Poet Laureate will be announced later this year. The Youth Poet Laureate will serve a 1-year term as an arts ambassador to amplify the power of youth expression, celebrate community, and promote the literary arts. We are still accepting applications for the Youth Poet, which are due on May 30th. So if you know a talented young poet between the ages of 14 and 21, please have them apply. Howard County is well known for its vibrant, diverse arts community. We are fortunate to live in an extraordinary place with extraordinary artists and arts groups. And we are fortunate that our county government, under the leadership of County Executive Calvin Ball, is expanding our arts community with the addition of the Poet Laureate and Youth Poet Laureate programs. I've had the honor of working with Dr. Ball on a number of initiatives during his many years of public service, first with his 12 years with the County Council and now during his 2nd term as County Executive. Throughout, he has been a strong supporter and champion of the arts. So please give a warm welcome to County Executive Calvin Ball.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Colleen, for that very warm introduction, your leadership and your partnership over these years to help Howard County be on the map for arts and culture. I'm thrilled to join you tonight at this phenomenal event to officially announce Howard County's inaugural Poet Laureate. We are incredibly fortunate to have such an active and vibrant literary arts community right here in Howard County. The arts flourish in our community, from our schools and gathering places to our energized downtowns and main streets. The arts are the heartbeat of our county, breathing life and meaning into our everyday lives. At the center of it all is the Howard County Poetry and Literature Society. Woo-hoo! That's right. For half a century, Hoco Palizzo has offered an appreciation for literature and the written word, with countless audiences, allowing attendees to interact with some of the world's finest artists, much like tonight. Through the years, Hoco Palizzo has presented numerous prize winners, including Pulitzer honorees, National Book awardees, and Nobel laureates to Howard County audiences, as well as our homegrown talent. This year, we're thrilled to celebrate Hoco Palizzo's 50th anniversary. Please give them a big round of applause. It brings such joy to celebrate this incredible milestone with Hoco Palizzo during National Poetry Month. As an avid admirer and writer of poetry, years ago, I hope that you will indulge me as I recite a few lines, well, all of them, from one of my favorite poems, If, by Rudyard Kipling. In this poem is a foreshadowing of our special announcement. And it is one of the poems that oftentimes, when I've had some of the most challenging times in my life, it's gotten me through. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose, and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can walk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. Yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Across our nation, local jurisdictions have celebrated poetry, literature, and the arts through the establishment of local Poet Laureate programs. Poet Laureates are among the most gifted literary talents in their communities, sharing their love for literature and poetry with the broader community. In partnership with our Howard County Arts Council and Hoco Pulitzer, we created the Poet Laureate program last year with the goal of enhancing and uplifting the role of poetry in our community. I want to thank the Arts Council, Hoco Pulitzer, and our Poet Laureate Review Panel for their incredible collaboration in starting this program. Please give them another big round. Our Poet Laureate will be an ambassador for poetry and the arts in our community by participating in events and elevating poetry in the consciousness of Howard County residents. When we created this program, I knew that our inaugural laureate should not only captivate audiences with their writing and reading, but also speak to the collective issues, challenges, hopes, dreams, and opportunities facing our community and beyond. With this charge in mind, I'm excited to introduce Howard County's inaugural Poet Laureate. Our Poet Laureate is a former writer in residence for the Howard County Poetry and Literature Society, whose poems have appeared in more than 150 publications. In 2013, this person won the NAACP Image Award for outstanding literary work in poetry and recognition for immense contributions in the field. This artist is an accomplished poet, singer, songwriter, and photographer who holds a Master's of Fine Arts in Poetry. And today I'm thrilled to announce them as the first Poet Laureate for Howard County. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the talented, terrific, transformative, Truth Thomas.
It's a great honor to be here. I love this brother already. Give it up for his bow tie. I'd like to begin, before I start my list poem of thanks, with an epigraph from another book that I like. If my people, who are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sin, and I will heal their land, and occasionally stop by to bless the poet from Knoxville, Tennessee, become the inaugural poet of Howard County, Maryland. I'd like to thank all of you who are my family now for this great opportunity to serve my wife, my mother, my son, all my friends like family. Dr. Ball, please put your hands together one more time for him. I appreciate his intellect, his poise, his cool. Y'all just need to put your hands together for his cool, because he stands like Superman. And his presidential air. I'd like to thank all the judges on the panel, Grace Cavallari, Sylvia Jones, E. Ethelbert Miller, everybody who had a hand in helping me to get to this point. Artist Pamela Wolford, poet Lee Hinton, certainly the county executives, highly noble team, Felix Fashim, Safahira. I'd like to thank Colin West, the Executive Director of the Howard County Arts Council. I'd like to thank Dr. Tara Hart. Please put your hands together for her. The Barretts, please put your hands together for them. And a shout out to Pamela Simonson, my brother Nicholas Trapler, the program coordinator for Hookup Calypso, everybody at Hookup Calypso. Howard Community College, which has been a blessing. And again, I end this list point where I started, and by thanking God for this opportunity to serve my wife, my mother, my son, all my family, friends like family, and that means now all of you. Put your hands together for Dr. Renee in the corner of my I've been thinking quite a bit about the reverence for life, as I think much of the world has been this past year. Many people talk about holiness, justice, equality, and God. But I've mentioned this before. Demonstration of that tends to be very shallow. But in this place, in this arena, in Howard County, and in the country, we have an opportunity to stand up and speak up for what is right. So hopefully, over this next 2 years, I'll get a chance to do that. So I dedicate this poem to that hope, to that aspiration. Before I begin, I'm missing somebody. Tim Singleton there. Matthew Michael. In search of liberty's station, O Lord, my Lord, we have witnessed hatred's jaws seek to rend the golden garment of our nation. We have heard the sound of bullets playing freeze tag with our children, packing morgues like grocery bags. But here, right here, our broken land still knows touch of farmers tilling fields of hope. We are purple twilight paths, worn smooth from feet of freedom's travails. You have seen the all of all of it, O Lord, my Lord. Both terror's bloody irrigation and shoestrings tied to democracy's march, Balante to the locomotion of such steps, who press on. However run over spirits of their heels may be, so let every huddling pronoun rise. Dance in masses of diversity. Every stoop and village center only be patrolled with badging of compassion. If we must live, let it not be like yellow tape married to sirens. If we must live, here, right here, let amity find merry weather and hallowed blocks of bubble tea and chopped, hot dogs grilling trash talk, sweet potato pie, and dare I say it, Old Bay vegan sloppy joes. Yes, Lord, yes. We are Ellicott City train track thunder, all race rail cars hitched, and no engineer of cowards can derail us. And so we ride in search of liberty's station, not to linger there whenever wheels arrive, but to invent a doorway for more dark past travelers to abide in. Into roads of peace, let every star of David join hands with Assalamu Alaikums. Every hallelujah pew lock arms with Buddhist bells. Every Native American made alienation, and even humanism's highest priest ought to say amen to the ticket in this prayer, for it belongs to us. O Lord, our Lord, as much as every infant rider belongs to saddles of a mother's hips, but never half a coin as much as we belong to you.
Awesome.
So I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee originally. I like it when he does that. Knoxville, Tennessee originally. And my mother took me when I was a little boy. In 1965, Mustang convertible, that she sold for an AMC Matador. I know. But she brought us here. I grew up on the district line. I went to school in Maryland, went to church in DC, went to school in Maryland, went to the movies on U Street. That was how I grew up. And it was an escape. I recognized it then, and I thank God for that escape now. This poem I dedicate to her. The IB tree. I be powdered prints on African fingers. I be slave in Cherokee. I be Ben-Hur Ave and Strawberry Plains, a colored only survivor. I be Avon and Yonsa, Caribel Cole. I be 5 Points, Clothespins, and Knoxville. I be Mamaw and Papaw, Grandfather Erskine, Shoe Shines on Central and Vine. I be son of Caradella, who shouldn't have made it past 3. Pneumonia, paralysis, fever, and tears. I be prayers hanging over a crib. I be Seventh-day Episcopal Baptist Holiness AME. I be segregated popcorn dropped in Gay Street movie seats. I be picture frames for fathers. I be women raising men. I be Mother Macklin's crackling bread, her back catching rats in the pantry. I be uncles fighting Klansmen, giving as good as they got. I be package stores and cigarettes, holy birds and hymnals. I be hound dogs yawning porches. I be lightning bugs in jars. I be trailers tied to bumpers. I be U-Hauled to DC. I be battling out on Eastern Ave. I be Afro picks with fists. I be rent strikes, roaches, PF flyers, James Brown on the one. I be tank treads rolling, U Street smoking, Coretta's assassinated smile. I be bruises like plums on my mother's arms, a gift from my second non-father. I be nails in his cheeks, teeth in his back, as she gave as good as she got. I be the panther in her eyes that stopped the attacks. Yes, I be all that. When I was a little boy, my mother used to put a chalkboard up on the doorway in the kitchen. We're in the country. Had a stove, a wood stove in the middle of the kitchen. Anybody from the country here? Clap themselves right now. Just would you please? She had a chalkboard. And every day my mother would tell me, you're going to have to write something based on what I put on this chalkboard. Now, I was about 4 or 5 years old. I did not want to write anything. But there was this little chair my mother had down, and she said, well, you're going to stay here in this chair until you write something. So I thought I was going to out-stamina my mother. Well, let me tell you, that didn't happen. So I ended up writing, one of my first pieces was, I do not want to write this. I am only writing this because my mommy told me to. Thank you very much for that. And for my mother, once again. I have to let you know. But she also impressed upon me at an early age, once again, the reverence for life. So these next series of poems I'd like to read in that spirit, in the interest of ending genocide, underway now against the Palestinian people. And I lift this series of poems up for peace in that region for everybody. On Holy War. How fragile is the congregation of flesh, and quiet are corpses that litter the ground. I pass your service after most of the guests have gone. A headless boy stops and asks me if he's an Israeli or a Palestinian's son, and which of the bullets that struck him was the Holy One. A lot of people talk about holiness. A lot of people talk about justice, but we have to demonstrate that. And I've been singing a lot of that talk. On the subject of your holiness song, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that ceasefire swing. Any tune of piety sung in drone strike keys, any never again refrain belted out from diaphragms of bombs. No, it don't mean a doo-wop thing if it ain't got that ceasefire, trigger amputated, slaughter flatline swing, except for nursery rhymes of rubble. Infants, leaching white sheets red, mass graves as a melody, hollowness, your holiness song. Part of the job I think that artists have is to reflect what's going on in the hope of making it better. Clap for Brother Nate Marshall for his work along those lines. If you would, put your hands together. And also, Hayes Davis. So that's not always pleasurable or easy to take, but sometimes we have to do it. As you can imagine, not everything in my childhood was butter. But there was one day when my mother drove us out 29, when everything on Route 29 was just that road. It was a two-lane road. On either side was fields, farmland. And then you got to turn off one exit to the mall. That was Columbia. But there was one night, when there was sanity, and my mother drove us up here to a hotel. Now, I don't know what was going on while we had to leave, but we went to a hotel in Columbia, where I think the Whole Food restaurants is why I like Whole Food so much. But I never will forget walking into that hotel in Columbia and thinking, this place right here is sanctuary. Where we are, where we can have an exchange of ideas and talk about difficult subjects and love each other, at least try to love each other better, is sanctuary. We should cherish it in Columbia, we should cherish it in Howard County. Now recently I was someplace else, and I noticed this wasn't the case, so I'm going to talk about that. Anybody from DC in here? Okay. God bless you. Love you, brother. Love the hat, by the way. What's your name, man? Brother Hardy. White folks walk their dogs after Gil Scott Heron. Gentrification done bit my brother Phil as white folks walk their dogs. His property taxes began to swell and white folks walk their dogs. Can't get no money to shake my hand and white folks walk their dogs, because east of the river is a Bantustan while white folks walk their dogs. Another black child fell in a grave as white folks walked their dogs. He tripped up on the murder rate, but white folks walk their dogs. On U Street now, the tanning beds grow since white folks walk their dogs. Gonna put one in Ben's chili bowl because white folks walk their dogs. There ain't no heat in my baby's school as white folks walk their dogs. Her classroom window is a trap house view and white folks walk their dogs. Got ethnic cleansing in Berry Farm. Developers say that they mean no harm. Tell torn down blocks we can all come back. And as if that weren't a leash to crap, gentrification done bit my brother Phil as white folks walk their dogs. His property taxes began to swell and white folks walk their dogs. Bike lanes matter and running shoes. and white folks walk in privilege too. Statehood must be coming soon, because white folks walk their dogs. Now, I don't want you to get the impression that I don't like white folks or dogs. But what I don't like is pretending that injustice is just. Pretending what is abnormal should be the normality. And prayerfully, in the next 2 years, I'll get a chance to speak to some of those issues here. I'd like to leave you with a poem that I wrote some time ago when I took a trip across country. And actually, this is just before I wrote Speak Water. And I was angry about a lot of the injustice I saw. But it occurred to me, the best choice is not to respond in kind to hatred. And so I wrote this poem. Hanging up the belt. Quicksand are fists the blind will follow to trip themselves in ditches. What dragon slayer, wielding flames, escapes burns of boomerang fire. Cancer is every battle that answers blows with knuckle retorts. No hook kick, back kick, Kimura lock can best beasts of war. No bristling back in tiger style or art, apart from cheeks and revolution. Although these vengeance arms would wish to fly, send hate to sleep with fishes. For what I want to do, I do not do, and what I scorned, I have become. A willing sheep, a lowered guard, a change inside the gun, a soldier, speedy loading love, no tank can overcome. God bless you.
And that's the truth. This has been a historic evening. I want to thank, of course, all of our poets, and while they prepare to greet you in the lobby for a book signing, please let me offer gratitude for this Howard County community and the spirit of partnership and the love of the arts exemplified by the staff of the Howard County Arts Council, Hoco Palazzo, and Howard Community College, all under the inspiring leadership of our county executive, Dr. Ball. Thank you to our musicians, our bartenders, volunteers, and technical staff for their seen and unseen efforts to make this a safe, magical, and memorable evening. Finally, thank you for sharing our love of poetry, and feel free to linger, celebrate, and chat with our authors. We hope to see many of you at the Books in Bloom Festival downtown on May 11th for another celebration of literature. Thank you.